The legend of Kumbh Katha. The Kumbh Mela is considered as one of the world's oldest and most significant gathering of religious pilgrims and is also one of the most significant Hindu pilgrimage centers of India. The Kumbh Mela is at least over 2000 years old and has been documented by Chinese traveler Xuanzang, who visited India during the rule of Harshvardhan. The Kumbh Mela is always a great visual spectacle, attracting crores of visitors and devotees from all over the world. The Kumbh Mela has been inscribed on the representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity by UNESCO. Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage under UNESCO, in its 12th session held in South Korea during December 2017, noted that as the largest harmonious conclave in the world, Kumbh Mela stands for values like magnanimity and patience that are very beneficial for the human race in the modern times. Moreover, the concept of Kumbh Mela goes well with the current international human rights tools because the festival welcomes people from all corners of the world without any differentiation. The UNESCO committee had also observed that inscribing Kumbh Mela would ensure continuity of festival by way of Guru Shishya Parampara, teacher-student lineage that involves passing on the knowledge and skills related to Kumbh Mela from the saints and sages to the disciples. The mythological significance of Kumbh revolves around the story of Samudra Manthan or ocean churning, which was done by the gods and the demons to obtain the invaluable ratnas or jewels and amrita or the nectar of immortality. The mountain Madrachal became churning stick and Nagaraj Basuki, serpent named Vasuki, acted as the rope for the churning stick. Lord Vishnu himself took form of Kachapa or tortoise and provided base for the mountain Madrachal to provide it stable base. This story is symbolic of the churning of our hearts and minds to delve deeper into ourselves, from where the truth eternal and existence immortal emerges. That in Vedic culture is called the self, the Atman, the Paramatman, as Vedas declare, Sa Esha Hid Antara Jyotihi. In the recesses of our hearts, there is an infinite light, the light of pure consciousness, the light of infinite awareness, that is eternal, universal, non-dual, indivisible truth, and that is ever present in the heart of every living being, as Krishna also declares in Bhagavad Gita, Ishwarah sarvabhutanam hrideshe Arjuna tisthati. Hey Arjun, the Lord, the supreme reality of the nature of Satchidananda, eternal existence, pure consciousness and infinite bliss. The Lord is of the nature of eternal existence, pure consciousness and infinite bliss, who always resides in the hearts of every living being. This is the declaration of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and that alone is the immortal, eternal reality, that is Atman, and that is an eternal quest of humanity. There is not a single being, forget about humans, who ever wishes to die. Nobody wants to die. So the entire Kumbh festival has a very fundamental and deeper philosophical and spiritual message, that is, and especially the quest for eternity is the heart and soul and very foundation of entire Vedic culture. Here, the ultimate objective of every human being is to attain moksha, a liberation, that is, to realize that truth, that is state, the immortal, eternal truth ever hidden within one's heart. This body is pitcher or pot, kumbha, and within this body, the one which and who illumines this body and body parts is the nectar, that is Atman, the light of pure consciousness. So this manthan, the ocean churning, does mean the churning of our heads and hearts to separate between the eternal from ephemeral, from mortal to immortal. And by knowing the truth, by knowing that immortal element within ourselves, we become immortal, as Vedas declare, Brahmavid Brahmai Bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Tarati Shokam Atmavit. The knower of the self alone becomes free from all sorrows and sufferings and attains eternal, infinite bliss. That is the quest of every living being. So that is the deeper meaning, and that is the deeper quest of each and every human being too. So this story starts with that symbolic journey. But the fundamental spiritual and philosophical message is that churning within ourselves, to look for, to churn for that immortal element, the nectar lying within all of us. The nectar alone is the reality, that is the Atman, the self. The search for the self is essentially the message. The search and quest for the immortal element within us, ever present as the self, the Atman, is essentially the search of that symbolic churning of the ocean and the finding of the pitcher of immortality. This body is the pitcher, and the Atma, the self ever present here, is that nectar, that immortality. So let's go and see how that began. What is that legend? The story is as mentioned in the Skanda Puran. Kumbh Mela is not just held where the Amrit Kalash was put down, but where the nectar had spilled over to ground along with putting down of the Kalash. It is believed that these drops gave mystical powers to these places. It is to make oneself gain on those powers that Kumbh Mela has been celebrated in each of the 4 places since time immemorial. The Ardha Kumbh, that is half Kumbh Mela, is held every 6 years at Haridwar and Prayag, while The Purna, that is full Kumbh Mela, takes place every 12 years at 4 places, namely Prayagraj, Haridwar, Ujjain and Nashik. Based on planetary movements, the Mahakumbh Mela, that is the Great Kumbh Mela, is celebrated only once after 144 years, that is after completion of 12 Purna Kumbhas, that is 12 full Kumbh Melas. So, and that is celebrated only in Prayagraj, and that comes after 144 years. Depending on what position the Sun, Moon and Jupiter hold in that period in different zodiac signs, the venue for Kumbh Mela is decided. The astrological aspect of Kumbh is related with traversing planets and stars and their certain alignment. As per the Vedas, the Sun is considered as like soul or life-giving force. The Moon is considered as Lord of Mind. The planet Jupiter or Brihaspati is considered as Guru of Gods. As it takes almost 12 years for Jupiter to traverse to complete zodiac, so the Kumbh Mela is celebrated in accordance with that periodicity at one place after about every 12 years. Now, for all these 4 different places of Kumbh, Haridwar, Prayagraj, Nasik and Ujjain, there is a specific astrological science which determines. And what is that? Let's go one by one. When is Haridwar Kumbh held? Currently, we are here in Haridwar enjoying the divine bliss of Haridwar Kumbh. So, similarly, what are the planetary positions which determine as to what is the period and what is the astrological positions for Haridwar Kumbh? What are the astrological positions for Prayagraj, Nashik and Ujjain? So it's all already very scientifically laid down. So as in the scriptures is mentioned, Padmini Nayake Meshe Kumbharashi Gate Guru Ganga Dware Bhaved Yoga Kumbhanama Tathuttama. That in simple English means, when Jupiter enters in Aquarius or Kumbh zodiac sign and Sun and Moon in Aries and Sagittarius respectively, Kumbh is held at Haridwar. Now, when is Kumbh held at Prayag? Makare cha divanathe ham jage cha brihaspatau kumbha yogo bhavet tatra prayage yati durlabha mesharashi gate jive makare chandra bhaskarau amavasyat tada yoga kumbhyakhas tirthanayake. When the Jupiter is in Taurus or Vrishav zodiac sign and the Sun and Moon are in Capricorn or Makar, the Kumbh is held at Prayagraj. Prayagraj is the king of all the Kumbhs and pilgrim centers. Kumbh Tirtha Nayake. Now, for the Nasik, Singharashi gate surye Singharashau brihaspatau Godavarya bhavet kumbho jayate khalu muktidah. When the Jupiter enters in Leo or Singha zodiac sign and the Sun and Moon in Cancer, the Kumbh is held at Nashik and Trambakeswar. Nashik and Trambakeswar are nearby cities. Now, for Ujjain, मेष राशि गते सूर्ये सिंह राशौ बृहस्पतौ उज्जयिन्यां भवेत् कुंभः सदा मुक्ति प्रदायकः. When Jupiter is in Leo and the Sun and Moon in Aries, the Kumbh is held at Ujjain. So invariably the turn of each of these 4 Kumbh places comes after 3 years. Since Jupiter is in zodiac Singha during the Kumbh held at Trambakeshwar, Nasik and Ujjain, that is why it is known as Singhastha Kumbh, because the Jupiter is in Singha Rashi, Singh zodiac sign. At Nashik, Trambakeshwar, it is held at the banks of river Godavari. At Prayagraj, it is held at the sacred confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and invisible Saraswati. And at the banks of Haridwar, at the banks of Ganga at Haridwar and at the banks of Shipra at Ujjain. It is marked by the fact that millions of people participate in this great fair without any call or invitation by anybody else. The Nasik Kumbh is unique as Vaishnava Akhadas and Shaiva Akhadas, which bath together at Prayag, Haridwar and Ujjain, bath separately here. As a result of arrangements made by the Peshwas due to clashes between ascetics of both sects, Vaishnava Akhadas bath at Nashik and Shaiva are Sannyasis, Udasins Akhadas bath at Trambakeshwar. The story, what is the story? Now let's see the story. The legend of Kumbh in the scriptures. The story of Samudra Manthan, that is churning of the mythological ocean, the Kshir Sagar, milky ocean, is mentioned in various ancient Indian scriptures like Srimad Bhagavad Puran, Vishnu Puran, Mahabharata and Ramayana, which narrate how after the gods lost their power and became very weak as a result of a curse by Durvasha Rishi, the thought of churning the Kshir Sagar to obtain Amrit, nectar of immortality, occurred to them. They realized soon that the task couldn't be accomplished without the help of their adversaries, that is Asuras, the demons. A provisional arrangement was made between the two with the promise of sharing the Amrit. When the task was accomplished after 1000 years of continuous ocean churning, a fight ensued between these two groups over the possession of the Kumbh, a pitcher containing the divine nectar. They fought for 12 days and nights, which equates to 12 human years. One day of heavenly gods is equal to 1 year of the human time. While the fight was on, the vehicle of Lord Vishnu, the Garud, the celestial bird, flew away with the Kumbh. During this flight, some drops of Amrit, that is nectar, is spilled over at 4 places on earth, namely Prayag, Haridwar, Ujjain and Nashik. Commemorating this celestial and mythical event, the Kumbh Mela is held 4 times every 12 years at these 4 places. On the occasion of these Kumbh Melas, devout Hindus come in pursuit of purging their souls and washing their sins away by taking a holy dip in the sacred waters of the rivers on the banks of which the above mentioned places are located. It is believed that during this time the water from these rivers turns into purifying nectar, allowing the devotees to cleanse their souls as they bathe in these holy waters. Kumbh Mela is the largest religious gathering of the world. Largest human gathering on the planet in the history is this Kumbh. Though all the Kumbh Melas are attended by millions and billions of pilgrims, the names of Prayagraj and Haridwar come at the top of all Indian pilgrimages. The Kumbh Melas of Prayagraj and Haridwar are visited by very large numbers of devotees and enjoy exceptional media coverage. Visitors from all over the world come and participate, especially in these two Kumbhs. Kumbh Mela of Prayagraj held during 2019 had seen a record number of visitors during 2 months. About 25 crore people had visited Prayag Kumbh in 2019. This was unprecedented and history was made. Never ever on Mauni Amavasya date alone, about 6 crore devotees had taken holy dip at the Sangam in Prayagraj during 2009. Never ever in the annals of human history had so many human beings gathered at one place on one day and without any problem, without anybody taking care of or paying for their travel or stay or anything else. 6 crore devotees, pilgrims taking holy dip on one day, Mauni Amavasya 2019. I was eyewitness there. I stayed there for 2 months and enjoyed the divine bliss. It was unbelievable. However, the present time is a grim time due to global pandemic of COVID, and the present Kumbh of Haridwar is being held in the grim atmosphere of COVID-19 global pandemic. Therefore, there have been so many restrictions and the government has restricted this Mela only to 28 days, beginning from 1st of April and ending on 28th of April. And the visitors will have to bring a negative corona report, and only then they would be allowed to participate in the Kumbh Mela. But religiously and according to the calendar, the Kumbh Mela of Haridwar has already begun. It began on 14th of January with Makar Sankranti Asnan. I also took a holy dip at Har Ki Pauri, Haridwar, and after that there have been 3 more Parv Asnans, that is Mauni Amavasya Asnan and Basant Panchami Asnan and Maghi Purnima Asnan. So till now there have already been 4 Parv, that is festival Asnans, the sacred dates in Hindu calendar on which large number of people do come to take holy dip in Ganga. But due to corona pandemic, the number has been limited. There have been too many restrictions. But still, yesterday itself, which was Magh Purnima, Parvasnan festival, Holy Deep. About 7 to 8 lakh devotees, despite all restrictions of COVID, took Holy Deep at Har Ki Pauri yesterday. So, what is there that inspires Hindus to go out and take Holy Deep during this Holy Kumbh, despite so many problems and difficulties and restrictions even? Hindus believe that the waters of these holy rivers turn into nectar during the dates when the Kumbh Mela is held, with devotees believing that taking a dip in the sacred rivers during the Kumbh Mela liberates a person from all their past sins, and they are eternally blessed by the divine waters of the holy rivers. That is the deep, firm belief in head and hearts of every Hindu, Sanatan Dharmi, which brings them here. The quest for immortality, the search for eternity, brings them to participate with so much of enthusiasm and love and devotion, and despite so many difficulties. In Sanskrit language, what is the meaning of the term Kumbh Mela? In Sanskrit language, the word Kumbh means pot or pitcher, and Mela means fair or gathering of human beings at a special place. Therefore, Kumbh Mela is the festival that celebrates the sacred pot of immortality that emerged out of churning of milky ocean, as mentioned in Hindu scriptures. Many places it's mentioned that story goes back to Satyuga, that had happened during the era of Satyuga. Every 12 years, pilgrims gather from farthest corners of the world to celebrate this occasion. The 4 cities where the drops of nectar fell are worshipped as holy lands. That is Haridwar, Prayagraj, Nashik, and Ujjain. They are so sacred and holy for Hindus. During the days of Kumbh Mela, it is believed that the waters of sacred rivers acquire divine properties like that of Amrit Kumbh of milky ocean. It's believed that the divine power of the river waters during the Kumbh period, especially during the holy bath dates, acquires the divine properties that were intrinsic to the Amrit Kumbh of the Milky Ocean legend fame. Thus, Hindus bath in these sacred waters during Kumbh with the hope to become pure and washing away their sins, and would finally attain moksha. When it comes to social and cultural integration, Kumbh Mela becomes an effective platform for fusion of people belonging to diverse sects of society. Despite their different religious, social, and cultural beliefs, visitors from various traditional cultures come together and take part in the Kumbh Mela. Through various rituals, practices, programs, and functions, Kumbh spreads the message of humanity, peace, kindness, love, forgiveness, oneness, and harmony. Each ritual incorporates the sciences of astronomy and astrology along with cultural beliefs and religious practices. Marked as the most significant ritual of the entire festival, Asnan, that is holy bath, witnesses millions of pilgrims gathering at the river banks to take a dip in its holy waters. The event begins with a celebratory procession of the sadhus and saints present at the ceremony who march towards the ghats. Walking alongside them are people mounted on elephants and horses, carrying banners and flags in their hands, cheering the monks walking ahead. Musicians play tunes with great pomp. As the Kumbh procession reaches the banks, the holy monks take the first dip in the waters, after which the bathing ritual begins for the common people. They then take a holy dip and bath in the water with the hope of atonement of their past sins, and thereafter attain salvation, liberation, moksha. That is the ultimate purushartha, the objective of human life in Vedic culture and Sanatan Dharma. The religious bathing takes place every day, starting as early as 3 a.m. in the morning. However, the most auspicious bath is considered on the night before the full moon, on the night of the new moon or Amavasya, the night before the new moon, that is called Amavasya in Hindu calendar. That one is the most famous holy bath. Legend has it that bathing in the river on this Amavasya day liberates a person from the cycle of birth and death. He becomes free from birth and death. He or she, whosoever takes a holy dip on the occasion of Amavasya during Kumbh. Kumbh Mela is a great opportunity for those wishing to closely observe the lives of sadhus, saints, monks and sannyasis of various orders and akharas. Monks, saints and religious scholars gather and put up tents at Kumbh Mela to preach the religious knowledge and spiritual wisdom of ancient Vedic texts and holy Hindu scriptures. This social event is known as Satsanga. Large numbers of seekers, devotees and devout Hindus participate in these Satsangas held in Kumbh Mela. In this way, Kumbh provides a great opportunity for spiritual learning and exchange of Vedic knowledge and scriptural ideas. Sannyasins, sadhus and saints attending Kumbh Mela are regarded as guardians of Hindu faith. Preserving the teachings of Hinduism and its culture is the religious community called akharas standing out. Their participation is first and foremost during the Kumbh Melas, the akhara sannyasins. Each akhara has worshippers of a particular deity, but most of them are devotees of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Every 3 years, when the Kumbh Mela is organized in one of the 4 pilgrimage sites, sadhus from over 13 akharas participate in the fair with their presence and interact with the pilgrims. Many rituals like Shahi Snan, royal bath, don't commence till the sadhus take the first dip in sacred river. The 13 akharas attending the Kumbh Mela are as follows, and these akharas have different priority allocated to different akharas for specific Shahi Snans, that is royal bath. There are 13 akharas, and which are the Shaiva akharas are followers of Lord Shiva, and they are 7, namely there are 7 Shaiva akharas, namely Mahanirvani, Atal, that is Mahanirvani akhara, Atal akhara, Niranjani akhara, Anand akhara, Juna akhara, Avahan akhara and Agni akhara. These are the 7 Shaiva akharas. There are 3 Vishnu akharas, namely Nirvani akhara, Digambar akhara and Nirmohi akhara. And then finally there are 3 Sikh akharas. The Sikhs have their own akharas, and they also are 3 in number, namely Bara Panchayati Udasin akhara, Chota Panchayati Udasin akhara and Nirmal akharas. So these are the prominent akhara, 13 akharas which have very prominent role and participation in all Kumbh Melas. So this is the religious and story, legends behind the Kumbh, but the ultimate, deeper, fundamental, spiritual and philosophical message and morale of the Kumbh Mela is to remind the mankind about their eternal nature, the immortality, the pitcher and pot of immortality and nectar is ever present within every living being. Especially human beings are equipped with their discriminating faculty. That is manthan, the churning. The animals can't do the thinking process. The power of discrimination, the faculty of discrimination between the ephemeral from the eternal, from false and truth. Therefore, as Socrates also said, that unexamined life is a total waste. So all the Vedic rishis, the sages and seers of Upanishads declare that the eternal and immortal reality and existence of every living being, but the human beings are capable of realizing their eternity, immortality, if they begin to churn their heads and hearts to find out the hidden vessel, pot and pitcher of nectar and immortality that is there in the heart. Heart means the intellect, the inner equipment, antahkarana. So that is the self, the principle of self, the reality of self as taught by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Ishvarah sarvabhutanam hrideshe arjun tisthati. The Lord himself, the supreme reality itself, is present in the hearts of every living beings. That is the pitcher of immortality. That is the pot of nectar. That is the infinite ocean of love, bliss and beauty. That is the Satchidananda, the truth eternal, existence eternal, of the nature of pure consciousness and everlasting bliss. Bliss is the ultimate search. Bliss is the ultimate goal, and infinite bliss is the goal of every living being. We are every moment seeking that and that alone. That symbolizes the Kumbh, and that is why that Brahman, the Satchidananda, the Lord, the Self alone is the repository of that Kumbha. That infinite ocean of love, bliss and beauty is present in that alone. So find out that nectar within yourself. The nectar is ever present within yourself. Let me hope and pray that we realize our immortal nature, and that Kumbh becomes a great reminder of realization of our truth. That is Satchidananda. Chidananda Rupah Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupah Raso Vaisaha. The Atman alone is the source of all bliss.